Hey everybody, welcome back to That's My Business, the podcast. This is Crystal White. So this week, well, first off, I want to say thank you to everybody who listened last week to our first episode back about self-advocacy. It was an amazing episode. And so this week, I'm going to tell you about an ironic instance. So I was already planning on making this week's episode about adult friendships. And ironically enough, I posted a TikTok a couple days ago and it went viral, like almost 2 million views. And I talked about some of my, friendship rules. And so it went viral and the comments were absolutely crazy. And so it has me really wanting to dissect this topic even more than I did before. So in adult friendships, I want to share a little bit about my experience with adult friendships. So for me growing up, I was never like the kid with like a ton of friends, right? And when I did have friends, I was very, very close to them. And so that's been my mood pretty much my whole life. I don't really have like fluffy friends. All my friends are like sisters, right? So coming up, it was very hard for me to maintain friendships because we moved around a lot. I went to different schools. It was just a lot going on. So as I got older, I went through some pretty shady things with friendships, some pretty shady things. And I feel like for most people, they would have maybe gotten jaded and started to like give up on their friendships or just give up on the topic of trusting people altogether. But I took a different approach and I just learned from every friendship that didn't go the distance, right? I remember growing up, one of the things that we always used to, like my mom used to always tell us is that like people are in your life for a reason, sometimes for just a season. And so I held that close as I went through life, making sure that I wasn't holding on to anybody any longer than they were supposed to be in my life. And so I feel like that has served me well. Because as I get older, I'm able to embrace the experiences that I have with people as opposed to wanting everybody to be in my life forever, right? Some people are only around for a season. You know what I'm saying? You have like those minute friends who come and y'all have a summer where y'all turn up together. Y'all have a summer where y'all have a blast. And then maybe that was y'all season together. And it's no tea, no shade. You know what I mean? It's no tea, no shade if it don't go the distance. But at the same time, you have to embrace that they were there for a season or a reason, right? I always say that God uses the people that he feels like you'll learn through to teach you lessons. And I feel like a lot of my friendships have been lessons, whether it's in creating boundaries, whether it's a lesson on knowing what to talk to people about and what to hold close to the vest, or even if it's just talking about, just life. Like what kind of conversations are you having with your friends? Are y'all talking about growth? Are y'all talking about people more often than y'all talking about growth? Those are things that I've kind of like learned from the friendships that didn't last forever. So as I'm going into this season where I'm like in my 30s, getting friends at this age is very funny, right? It's not the easiest thing to do, but I do feel like when you're your best version of yourself, you attract the right people. So I feel like in this season, even though it hasn't been easy to meet friends, even though it hasn't been easy to establish like brand new friendships out of like thin air, I do feel like the people that I have now are the people that I want forever. Okay. They're my girls. They're my day ones, my A1s. You know what I'm saying? So I'm happy for this season because I feel like you grow through those friendships that don't last forever. But real quick about this TikTok. So I posted my three things I never want to hear from a friend. And I want to delve a little bit deeper into each topic. So the first one I said, which I'll try to post. I don't know how to post. Maybe I can post like the TikTok as like a sound bite in the podcast. We'll edit this out. This is a little brainstorming session in the middle of the podcast. But anyway, so the first one was, you don't need to say this stays between us. And the amount of comments of people who have been downright betrayed by their friends, I feel for them. I didn't even get mad at some of the comments because I'm like, damn, somebody hurt you. Somebody really let you down as a friend if you feel like you can't Like, if you feel like you have to preface anything you say to your friends with "this stays between us," baby, you've been hurt. You've been damaged. You haven't healed. You know what I'm saying? Somebody really had their way with you and you struggling with it. And so the amount of people who were like, "Oh no, I say that because," one person said they say that because they had a friend who told their business and their justification was, "You didn't say that stays between us." Can you imagine? That is absolutely barbaric. I have to give you a disclaimer before I tell you something. No, that's not a friend. It's just not. And the second one, so it was a lot of comments like that. There were a lot of comments of people saying that they have basically had people shit on them. And so they feel like they have to go above and beyond when it comes to telling their business to their friends. And I'm like, that is painful to me because I couldn't imagine a world where I can't be my true authentic self with my friends. So that was actually crazy. The second one, now here's where I really want to get into it. So the second one, I said, you now listen to me, because I noticed that in this second message or the second note or whatever, so many people took it for what they wanted to take it for and not for what I said. I said, you don't have to lie to me about you going back and forth to that man, right? Or about you being done with that man. I didn't say I'm supporting the man, I'm supporting what he does to you. I said you don't have to lie to me. So if you want to go back and forth to this man, if you want to keep dating this man, if you want to still be with this man and y'all done had your ups and downs, what I'm saying is you don't have to lie to me and say you done with him. However, whatever your situation is with him, you don't have to lie to me about it as your friend. And so many people took that as like, well, if it's an abusive relationship, I'm not supporting that. Who said anything about supporting an abusive relationship? Not me. Or, it's people like, well, if this is happening, then I'm not supporting that. And it made me wonder, as a friend, why are you so invested in your friend's relationship to the point where you are forming opinions about a relationship that you're not even a part of? What's the thought process that makes it seem like that's okay? It's just, you're just a friend. You're a third party. You're not a part of the relationship. And like I said in a video where I responded, because I typically don't respond to comments on my TikToks. I typically let people argue and talk amongst themselves in the comments unless it's something I really feel the need to interject on. But I said, so your friend talks to you all the time about their relationship, which is rare. I feel like at this age, at this very big age, it's like you kind of talk to your friends about what you have going on, but it's not a check in about my relationship every single day, every single minute, with every single instance. Like, it's not like that typically at this big age. But if your friend confides in you, what makes you think that you know everything about this relationship, so much so that you can form an opinion and speak or act on your opinion? That's where people were losing me. So it made me wonder, how and why are you so invested? I have some theories. If you're that invested, odds are you don't have a man of your own. And I'm going to just say that. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to say your relationship status might be up. It might be up for question. You know what I'm saying? The other part of it is, are you envious of this relationship in some type of way? Are you envious of this friend? Do you have some type of ill will where you're not able to just be supportive? Like, what's really going on? And also, let's just go back to what I said. I said, you don't have to lie to me about going back and forth to that man. I didn't say nothing but you don't have to lie to me. I said, I'm rocking with you. So if you love him today and hate him tomorrow, then I love him today and hate him tomorrow, because that's not my business. What's going on in your relationship? It's just not my business. Even if you talk to me about it, I'm still not going to take it as I know enough to speak on it or act on it. And so that was very shady business. And I even implored some people, listen, if you got a friend that you confide in and you feel like she might be a little shady boots, I invite you to go through the comments on that video and see what your friend is on there talking about. Because odds are, if she's a TikTok girl and she's somebody that you felt a little funny about when you told her your business, odds are she commented on that video and had a lot to say, because it was some people in there airing their business, okay? Letting it be known that they're not trustworthy friends, letting it be known that they're shady friends, right in the comments. Can you imagine scrolling and you see your best friend in somebody's comments talking crazy? That's nuts to me. It's nuts to me. And it was something that people were really doing. And so that was alarming. The last thing was, and this one ruffled a lot of feathers. The girls called me childish. They called me petty. They called me jealous. Okay. I said, I don't want to hear about the fun you have with your other friends. Y'all would have thought I said, I want your other friends to pack a bag and I want all of them to go to hell. You would have thought that's what I said. I just said, I don't want to hear about your fun with your other friends. And it's so funny because I feel like if you have, like, for example, me and me and all my close friends, they know good and well, listen, hang with your other homegirls. But we ain't got to go into detail about how much fun you had with them or what you did with them. You can tell me, like, oh, we tried this restaurant. It was good, whatever. But I don't want to spend my time with you as a friend talking about your other friends. And I don't understand why anybody would want that. I'm not saying you can't have other friends. I'm not saying I'm going to be weird towards your other friends or that I won't like your other friends. I'm just saying when we together, we the friends. We having a time with each other. We enjoying each other. And so many people got up in arms saying I was jealous, saying I was petty. And I'm just like, who gave you the notion? I'm jealous or I'm petty because I don't want to talk about your other friends. But also, get them out of here. You know what I'm saying? They're not part of the fun. They're not part of the fun. And I stand by that. Call me whatever you want, but you won't call me fake. And that's what I'm going to say on that. But as I get older, I notice that one of the most important things about maintaining friendships, healthy relationships overall, is that you approach everything with like an air of grace and an air of understanding. Because otherwise, you are literally looking for a reason to be offended. You're looking for a reason to be bothered. You're looking for a reason to have an issue with your friends if you're not leading with grace and understanding. And you can ask yourself, the way you can test yourself when it comes to leading with grace and understanding. Take a situation that you had with a friend. Maybe it rubbed you the wrong way, a comment they made, or maybe they didn't call you back, or maybe whatever it is. Take a situation that you had with a friend that made you feel some type of way and try to dissect why you felt away. And odds are, unless this friend was just being a shady, terrible person, odds are you were not leading with understanding and grace in that encounter. You went straight to being offended. You went straight to being bothered by them not doing what you wanted them to do or responding how you wanted them to respond. And so as I've gotten older, and I would have issues with, I'm a pretty sensitive person. So I would take a lot of things to heart. And then I had to realize that if this is my friend, even if I feel away for whatever reason, I can't assume that my friend is acting out of spite or out of ill will with me. I have to assume that there is just a difference in opinion, a difference in understanding, or there's just some type of disconnect in that thing. And it might not even be a disconnect as much as I might just be being fucking sensitive. But when you lead with understanding and grace, you understand that the people in your life, especially your close friends, your significant other, family members, whatever, unless you know them to be shady boots, okay, you have to assume that this person is acting out of love, even if it's something that you don't necessarily like, right? So when your mother is honest with you about something, you're not going to assume that your mother just hates you. You're going to assume that y'all just may see things differently. And that's what you have to do with your friends. You can't assume that they're out to get you unless they show that they're out to get you. And it's so many times I call myself being just flat out offended. I can't believe she did this, or I can't believe she said that, or I can't believe. And it's just if this person hasn't ever showed me that they have ill will towards me, that they have a vengeful spirit towards me, why would I assume now that that's how they're acting or that's what they're motivated by? The other part of it is, and this is a big one, the other part of it is everybody has not had your experiences. Everybody does not have your level of understanding, higher or lower, greater or lesser, right? So you have to assume, before you get offended, you have to assume that there is just a lack of understanding in that situation. maybe they grew up in a way where the way they responded was totally acceptable. It was the status quo. And maybe the way you grew up, there was no way people did that. And that's just a difference in just background. That doesn't mean that your friend was out to get you or that your friend was out to shade you. It just means that y'all have had different life experiences. Same thing in relationships. Like when you're dating somebody, you have to be willing to understand that they did not come from the same exact background as you. Even if y'all grew up as next door neighbors, you have to assume that their life is different from yours in some type of way. And when you start with that, you're able to be like, okay, what difference in experience did we have that maybe led them to go this way on this or to see it this way, whereas I see it a different way? I just feel like you save yourself so much energy when you try to understand people instead of try to be offended by everything. So in addition to not seeking to be offended by everything, I feel like the whole giving grace thing has gotten a little out of hand. So I feel like people understand giving people grace as giving people unlimited chances to play with you, to say what they want to say, to do what they want to do. And that's not grace. That's not what granting grace is. Grace is giving somebody the space to be who they are in a situation. It's giving somebody the freedom and the opportunity to exist how they exist, but also giving them the space to grow and learn within your situation. So giving somebody grace is not letting somebody play in your face and being like, oh no, but I'm going to give them grace. No, because if they play in your face, they play in your face, right? So when you give somebody grace, what I mean is leading with grace and understanding. It's leading with the fact that this person has differences. And because they have differences, you cannot lead with judgment. You cannot lead with criticism. You cannot lead with malice. You have to lead with grace. You have to lead with the understanding that this person is different from you. Like I said, this goes for relationships and friendships. I told a story about how I dated someone who came from just a totally different background. I grew up in Detroit. Detroit is a lot rougher. It's a lot more cliquey because Detroit is not a transient city. So people who are from here, who live here, have been here forever. Their families have been here forever. So it's a different type of climate. But more than anything, Detroit is just a lot more dangerous than where my ex was from. And our relationship taught me so much about understanding and grace, because while I wanted him to just do and know certain things, we just came from two totally different backgrounds. So he had just never experienced a lot of things that I experienced. He had never seen a lot of the things that I had seen. So I couldn't expect him to just walk into a situation knowing exactly how to respond. And he had never been in that situation before, whereas these were more commonplace for me. Same thing in friendship. Like I said, y'all can grow up next door to each other, but once you close that door, what goes on behind it could be a totally different reality. And so you have to be able to give people the space to be who they are in your friendships and your relationships, because that's the only way that y'all thrive, right? That's the only way that you get ahead. That's the only way that y'all continue to grow and progress with one another, is if you give them the space to be who they are. And I got that from one of my really good friends. We've been friends over 15 years. And whenever I would vent to him about things, he would be like, you have to learn to accept people for who they are, right where they are, because anything else is doing yourself and them a disservice. Because all they're going to do is continue to disappoint you because you're holding them to a standard that they did not set for themselves. And I thought, because I always said, like, I'm only going to hold you to the standards you set for yourself. But I didn't understand that even in that, I was still looking at people through my lens of understanding, or my lens of their standard they were setting. I wasn't being graceful, even though I thought I was. And so that was such a powerful lesson, because it has allowed me to, again, give people the space and the grace that they need in order to show up in my life, however they are equipped to do so. Whatever their best looks like, them showing up in my life, I give them the space to do that. And so that's been a great lesson. It's been a great lesson for me to learn. But as I am an entrepreneur now, as I am just growing and older than I was, obviously 10 years ago when I met a lot of the people that I'm still friends with today, I'm just learning the importance of people in my life being equally yoked. And that's in friendship, that's in relationships, that's across the board, right? I want things to be so aligned. And I look back at friendships that I have lost, and I'm thankful that they're no longer. Not because I have ill feelings towards them or because I'm harboring any resentment, but because our friendship ran its course. It ran its course. And I look at where I am now compared to where I was when I met these people. Those people. We're going to speak about them in past tense. But I look at where I was when I met those people, and they wouldn't align with where I am in my life today. So why would I be mad that we're no longer friends? Why would I talk badly about you? Why would I, you know what I mean? And that's another thing that people do. It's like you take it so personally that somebody is not in your life anymore. When you're not paying attention to that is the plan. Them not being in your life anymore is the plan. And my friend literally posted a quote today on her story. And it said, "Don't mistake a new beginning for a bad ending." And I had to read it like 3 times, but it's deep because you'll be so busy holding on to a situation. You'll be so busy trying to make a situation be what you want it to be that you literally stop the new beginning that is waiting for you. You stop it from blossoming. You stop it from growing because you're so stuck on trying to preserve this thing that you should let go of. Deep. Okay? So deep. But yeah, as I get older, I just want friendships that are equally yoked. I want people who feel good. I want people who make me feel good. And I want interactions that feed my spirit. I notice when I'm around my friends now, I leave feeling so much better than I did when I walked into the room or walked into their house or whatever it is. Whereas in previous years, I was friends with people and I would leave their house or I would leave their presence and I would be drained. I would be tired. I would be annoyed. You know what I mean? And who wants that? That's not a healthy friendship. That's not a healthy relationship. So here I am today saying, as you grow in life, in love, in friendship, lead with grace, lead with understanding, give people the space that they need to show up in your life the best way that they can. And just trust that people who are no longer around for a reason. And stop trying to hold on to dead things and revive dead relationships because there's nothing waiting there for you. All right. So thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for watching. You can follow me on Instagram at I am Crystal White. You can follow me on TikTok at Crystal X White. And you can shop my brand at wbycrystalwhite.com. Thank you guys so much for listening. I will talk to y'all next week.